I don't have to tell you that we live in a culture of exhaustion. We're tired. We're tired of producing. We're tired of up and to the right. We're tired of competing. We're tired of comparing. That's why I'm so glad that in this new kingdom that Jesus brought, he's also teaching us to rest. And Becky, thanks for being here teaching us, or Jesus teaches us, but you teaches us. I'm not calling you Jesus, but I'm just saying.
Sounds a little like
I love that you brought this topic to us because, first of all, I'm surprised that you're right. We need to be taught to rest. Why do you think that is? Why are we so bad at this?
Yeah, I think on one reason is because of just this society we live in, right? That we are a society that focuses on productivity.
Absolutely.
Last week, Steve talked about idolatry, right? And in particular, ideological idolatries that are rampant throughout our culture. And productivity is one of those ideologies that's an idol for us, right? We find our worth, our significance, our value in doing, in our work, in our achievement, in our progress, and that's what society rewards, right? You're rewarded if you're busy. You're busyness is the only this idea of Sabbath it's the only commandment that Christians brag about breaking, right? Like we brag about being busy. I just didn't get any sleep last night. I just had so much going on, on, almost like it's a badge.
No, because it makes you feel important.
Yeah, it makes you feel important. Like I did something, I contributed, and I'm not saying productivity is a bad thing in and of itself, right? I'm not saying, well, just don't do anything and let's just all be lazy. No, but it comes down to we have made productivity the thing, to where that's where our identity, that's where our worth, that's where our value comes from, and that's why rest is so hard for us. Because rest is not just being lazy, right? True rest is relinquishing control, right? It's saying, I can't carry the weight of life and I need to submit myself or surrender myself to the way Jesus has designed me to live and to rest in the way that he shows us how to find that rest. And that's just not something that comes natural to us. No,
I really like all your little steps that we can take to actually get to a point where we Sabbath well. And one of the things that I think I heard you say is that it takes work to get to the point of okay, from here on out, I'm not working. I'm going to take 24 hours to not work. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to isolate, but I'm going to invest in my people, invest in what brings me life. Do you think about it throughout the week to go, okay, I remember I have a kind of a cutoff. I've got a hard stop on Friday after dinner or Friday at dinner.
Yeah, this is not I decided I want a Sabbath and I set my Sabbath time and now I do Sabbath well, right? This is something that is going to take practice and something that will feel foreign and will feel strange and almost feel like there's resistance, like you're failing at it until you develop that habit. And I grew up in the church, right? Sabbath is not a foreign concept. It's something I heard about or talked a lot about, but we didn't value Sabbath. We valued the Lord's Day, right? Sundays, you go to church every Sunday. Even when we got into sports, I would miss my soccer games because being at church on Sunday was what was most important. It's the Lord's Day. But this idea of ceasing work and intentionally choosing to rest and delight in God and with others was a foreign concept. So then, as I became an adult and a pastor, I saw, okay, this is something I want to do. I don't want work to control me. I don't want ministry to control my life. I don't want my kids to resent the fact that I was ever a pastor because I literally just let it bleed into every area of my life, right? So when I started having kids, I would say I got really good at Sabbathing, as in having a day where I wasn't working, right? I'm not checking emails, I'm not thinking about work, I'm walking away from that. But even now still, I am not good at Sabbathing in a way that produces delight in God or delight in what God's doing in my life or delight in others, right? My Sabbath is not working, but it's kind of just vegging out. It's not intentional. It's not, it's my day to be on my phone more, not necessarily be on my phone less. And so there has been this need to be proactive in thinking through, okay, what are those life-giving things for me? How can we be intentional in preparing for that for when Sabbath does come, right? How can I make sure I go to Costco and I go to Trader Joe's before I get to Sabbath, to where I'm not tempted to do that on Sabbath, right? Because the reality is I still need food, right? I need groceries. I need to have a clean house. And if I save all of that for my Sabbath day, then I'm just going to do that instead, right? And so it's having this intentionality and letting it be something that you practice, and you start where you can, and then you grow, right? And you allow it to develop into, I think, what Jesus designed Sabbath to be, but you won't get there overnight.
Yeah. What a countercultural way to live. And I've loved that about this whole series, that we set ourselves apart with conviction, with holiness, with hope, with silence, with solitude, to stand completely against culture or completely separate or opposite culture. But what's one thing that you really would like for us to take away from this whole series? We've done 6 weeks of this. What is one takeaway?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway that I would hope our church would get from this series is how critical it is for followers of Jesus to be set apart, but not in a way that removes us from the mission field God's called us to, right? Not in a way that separates us or isolates us. And growing up in the church, I've just seen that done too much. I've done that myself. My family's done that ourselves at times, where it's just easier to put up a wall and be okay with our holy huddle, right?
Yep.
And allow there to be separation from the people who are outside of our church building walls, right? Allow there to be separation from the people at work who don't share the same values I do, the people in my neighborhood who don't share the same values that I do, and to be okay with that. And that's just not what we see Jesus calling his church to be. We are set apart, yes. We live differently, intentionally, yes, but in a way that allows us to be fully engaged and deeply present with the world around us, in a way that allows us to be fully engaged and deeply present with our coworkers and our neighbors and the parents at our kids' school and the people we play soccer with and the students we go to school with, in a way that is intentionally showing them who Jesus is through the way we live our life.
What an attractive thing to do, and what a great mission. I'm so glad that you walked us through that. We are set apart to bring rest. And if you feel not rested, not restored, not refreshed at all, you are exhausted, I want you to know that. I'd love to connect with you. We'll put my email address right here at the bottom. Send me an email. Perhaps we can meet one-on-one in some manner, some fashion, or I can set up a meeting with you with somebody else from our team. But also, let's work together. Let's encourage one another and sharpen one another so that whenever we enter a space, we bring refreshment, we bring restoration, we bring rest and healing to whatever situation, because we've rested. We Sabbathed as well. And thank you so much for teaching us that. It's a word. I just made it a word. I just made it a word. Thanks so much for teaching us today. And I'm so glad that you were here. I hope you will join us next time.